Hello everyone, this is Stephanie, your CSA coach, and it is week 1A of our 2026 CSA season. So today, anyone that has a Tuesday pickup for a full share or an A week half share is picking up today. Anyone that has a Thursday pickup, also A shares or half share A week is Thursday pickup. Pickups 1 to 7. Basically, you'll go to the table, give them your name, they'll give you a crate, you go back to your car and you unload that crate. So you need some sort of vessel to put all of your produce in. A cooler, I use plastic containers, people use baskets, bags, whatever works for you. If you have anything cold, so there's a bunch of add-ons, eggs, ice cream, coffee, mushrooms, fruit, which doesn't happen until August, but things like that, just know what you have and bring containers for that, especially like the ice cream. And on a day like today, it'll melt on the way home. Couple of announcements. On Mondays, your email comes out usually around between 12 and 1. Take a look at that email, read it from start to finish. It will identify all of the add-ons. It'll identify what you're receiving in your share this week. And it will also provide you with lots of links to recipes that work with a lot of the items that we're getting. So easy ways to figure out how you're gonna use the produce. And announcements are all on that email. So that email is really, really important. So that's how we start the week. If you are not receiving that email or you did not see it in your inbox, please double check your junk folder. I've been getting the email for years, and every now and then, if I know that I haven't received it, I go and check the junk folder, and for some random reason, it has gone to my junk folder. I have no idea why. So make sure you get that and read that at length. Announcements from that. There's a couple events coming up. So there is a Blooming Glen Farm party that is taking place on July 18th from 3 to 7 p.m. at the farm. Details of that are in the email. There's also the Rebel Soup Project. All of those details are in the email. And then there's a couple of classes that Dakota is teaching. Details on that are also in the email. So any special events, they're all gonna be contained in that email. All right, jumping right into this week's share. Once you get home, you need to figure out what you're gonna do with all of this produce. So how do you store it? What am I gonna use it for? That's what I go through every Tuesday. So right around 3 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon every week, you'll see me live here. They will stay live or on the Facebook group, I believe, for 30 days, and then they're automatically deleted, but we upload them to our YouTube channel. So they always exist. So use that use that link for old videos as well. All right, so jumping right into this week's produce, we have kale. Kale is stored in a plastic bag or a Debbie Meyer green bag. These are Debbie Meyer green bags. So they're reusable, you can get them on Amazon. Basically, I use them for pretty much all the produce we get. Throw the produce in here, throw it in the fridge, and then when I'm done using that produce, I just rinse them, air dry them, fold them up, and reuse them. And I've had the same Debbie Meyer green bags for several years. So they are very nice, and they keep your produce really good. So stored in a Debbie Meyer green bag or a plastic bag in your fridge. Kale can be used raw or cooked. You can use our simple sauteed greens recipe. Kale chips, there's a kale Caesar salad. We do a lot of raw kale salad, like a massaged kale salad. That's one of our favorite ways to use kale. There's a kale pesto. So all of those things are on the Blooming Glen Farm recipes. We love kale, so we're excited to have that. We got this beautiful lettuce in our share. I believe this is new because I don't think I've seen this before in years past. This is butterhead lettuce. So stored in a Debbie Meyer green bag in the fridge, great for a base for salads. It's also really light lettuce, so it's gonna serve really well for like sandwiches and things like that, but also like a bed for tacos. We like to do a lot of bowls, so we'll chop up lettuce and use it in a bowl. We do burger bowls, things like that. You could do a salad board this week. So we have a lot of greens that are great in salads, raw in salads. And then you put out those different greens, kind of combine them, make a fun vinaigrette, and add a few add-ons, maybe some grilled protein. That would be good for this weekend, this holiday weekend. So great for salads, great for sandwiches, great for lunches, dinner, things like that. It's our butterhead lettuce. Next up is our turnips. Very first thing that you're gonna do with the turnips is chop off the bottoms. We don't wanna keep the bottoms and the tops connected. So chop those off, store them in a Ziploc bag, and then the tops, store them separately. The tops act just like any other green. So our kale, our Swiss chard, any of the greens. You can saute them, you can chop them up, eat them raw. Typically these are sauteed. If you're not going to use them, then chop them off and throw them in a freezer bag and save them to make veggie broth later in the season. The bottoms, they can be eaten raw. I like to thinly slice them and put them on salad. I like to also shred them. They are great roasted. They're great grilled. You can put them in a stir fry. So lots of ideas there. We got bok choy. Bok choy is stored in a Debbie Meyer green bag in the fridge. It's huge. You can do like a sauteed bok choy. It's most often used cooked, but you can eat it raw. The greens and the whites will cook at different pieces. So your white part is gonna take more time to cook. It's usually sauteed. So I usually cut the white part, chop that up, throw that in, let that cook a few extra minutes, and then just toss the greens in, and that just takes a minute or two to saute. Bok choy, I know I did a recipe last year or a year or 2 years ago with bok choy, but most often sauteed or added to like a stir fry. Kohlrabi, I had no idea what this was until I joined the CSA. Very first thing you're gonna do is chop off those bulbs, put the bulbs in a separate Ziploc bag, throw those in the fridge. Greens, keep them in a separate bag, and put those in the fridge. When you're ready to use the greens, you remove that heart, that stem. So remove that, chop up the greens. You can saute them, you can add them to salads. They're usually sauteed. If you're not gonna use them, throw them in your veggie scrap bag for broth later on. Bottoms, I usually peel them and then you can eat them raw. They're delicious raw. They're nice and crunchy, so they're great added to like a veggie tray. You can shred them and add them to salad. You can use them in like a slaw. I have there's a kohlrabi carpaccio on the recipes. I think there's definitely a slaw somewhere in there from years past. You can grill kohlrabi, and you can also cook it and mash it like you would a potato. So slightly different flavor. So go into your recipes from years past, type in kohlrabi, and there's several recipes that will come up. And also look at your email, which Trisha links a lot of the old recipes that pertain. So lots of ideas there. I prefer actually eating them raw. They're delicious raw, just as like a snack. We got to pick strawberries, a pint of strawberries. These are stored in the fridge, unwashed preferably. You don't want to get them wet or any moisture on them until you're ready to eat them. Once you're ready to eat them, rinse them off, take off the stems. Save the stems because you can make strawberry top vinegar, which is delicious in a vinaigrette, also in marinades. It's one of our favorite things to do this time of year because you get all those strawberry tops and typically just throw them out. So keep that in mind. That recipe is on the blog or on the website. Strawberries, I think they're pretty self-explanatory. Use them on top of yogurt, on top of granola, with cottage cheese, great in salads. There's definitely several recipes where I've used them in salads. These will not even make it to our fridge. So I'm gonna rinse them, put them on the table, and the boys will eat them before dinner today, so they won't make it very far. We also got a bag of lettuce. This is left just like this. Throw it into the fridge. Once you're ready to use it, take it out. I do either a big bowl of water or fill the sink with water, put all the greens in, swish it around, then throw it into my salad spinner, get it nice and dry, and then it's a great base for any form of salad. Use our salad greens or our salad board PDF to make a big salad board, or to just give you ideas for other things that can go on your salads. But you can have salad breakfast, lunch, or dinner. That's yummy. Our spinach, same idea, left like this. Once you're ready to use it, put it in a bowl of water, get it nice and clean. And then you can lightly dress it. Use that as a base like this with some grilled chicken, and your strawberries would be a delicious salad. Lightly dressed, just a little bit of oil and vinegar, or a little bit of oil and lemon juice. I prefer spinach raw, but you can definitely cook it. So you can cook it in your, saute it. You can chop it up and use it in like a frittata or a quiche. Goes really well with eggs. You can use it in smoothies. So lots of ideas there. Our things that we want to use initially are probably our salad mix, our spinach, and the butterhead lettuce. So we want to focus on getting those into some sort of dishes within this next week. The other stuff is a little bit hardier and will last. Last but not least, we have scallions. I'm pretty sure my recipe this week is going to focus on these guys. Store them just like this in a Debbie Meyer green bag or in a large Ziploc bag in the fridge. Once you're ready to use them, they have a light onion flavor. So they're great with potatoes. You can throw them into mashed potatoes. They're great in like a stir fry. You're gonna have to use more of them to get a more potent onion. They're great as a garnish. I've dried these, so I've chopped them up and put them in the dehydrator and then saved them. So that's one way to preserve them, because we get a really large bunch of scallions. You could use them in like a salsa or anything you would use onion, you're just gonna use more. That is it for this week. Again, I'm pretty sure scallions are gonna be the showcase for the recipe on Thursday, so stay tuned for that. If you have any questions, please make sure you post in the Facebook group and let us know what you have, any concerns or things that you're worried about or not sure how to use. We'll guide and help you. If you stumble upon any really great recipes that you love, make sure you post those in the Facebook group for others to try as well. And I think that is it. Oh, I did want to show you these. On the hub, which is also linked in yesterday's email. So there's a link that you can click right onto it, and it's called the Hub, H-U-B. There's a ton of PDFs and a ton of information. I print out all the PDFs because I'm like a visual person. I need to physically have it in my hand. Two really good ones that pertain to a lot of the stuff that we have this week is the basic stir fry, which gives you a basic idea of, okay, we can throw all of these things together. Here's a basic recipe, but it's versatile. You get to pick the protein, you get to pick the veggies that you use, and we have a lot of stuff that would work for that. So take a look at that. The other thing, which will pretty much pertain just about every week of the season, is our simple sauteed greens. So what do we do when we have all these greens and we're not sure what to do with them? Saute them and use them as a side. You can put them with eggs for breakfast, you can put them with lunch, or you can put them with a grilled protein for dinner. So that's a good one to also look at. Our kale, our spinach, and our bok choy, and any of our kohlrabi and our turnip greens would work in here. So two things to look at if you haven't taken a look at the hub yet. That's it for this week. I will see you all again next week. Again, any questions, please post them, and welcome to this season of our CSA.